At 3:17 a.m., Tehran shook. Within minutes, the most powerful man in Iran was gone. This wasn't an accident. This was a coordinated strike that changed the Middle East forever. Welcome back to Master Builder 247, where we dive deep into the stories that shape our world. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Today, we're breaking down one of the most explosive events in modern history. The joint US-Israeli strike that killed Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. This isn't just a news recap. It's the full, gripping story of how it all went down. From months of shadowy intelligence gathering to the fateful morning of February 28, 2026, we'll uncover the details that shocked the globe. Buckle up. This is going to be a wild ride. To understand how Khamenei met his end, we have to go back to the escalating tensions in the Middle East. For years, Iran under Khamenei's iron-fisted rule had been a thorn in the side of the West. As supreme leader since 1989, he oversaw Iran's nuclear ambitions, supported proxy groups like Hezbollah and Hamas, and clashed repeatedly with the US and Israel. But things really heated up in 2025 with the 12-day war. A brutal conflict between Israel and Iranian-backed forces that left thousands dead and the region on the brink. Khamenei, already in his mid-80s, became increasingly paranoid and reclusive after that war. He spent most of his time in fortified bunkers, rarely surfacing. His main compound in Tehran was a fortress. Deep underground levels accessible only by an elevator that took over 5 minutes to descend. This made him a ghost, hard to track, even harder to hit. In fact, during the 12-day war in June 2025, Israel had a plan to assassinate him, but it was reportedly vetoed by then US President Donald Trump. Sources say Trump didn't want to escalate things further at the time. But fast forward to early 2026, and the game had changed. Iran was ramping up attacks on Israeli and US interests, and whispers of a major joint operation began circulating in intelligence circles. By January 2026, Khamenei was ordering crackdowns on domestic protests and directing missile strikes against Israel. The US and Israel decided enough was enough. This wasn't just about revenge, it was about dismantling Iran's leadership to prevent a full-scale regional war. Enter Operation Shadow Strike, or whatever classified name they gave it. The goal? Take out high-ranking officials, with Khamenei at the top of the list. If you're finding this breakdown valuable, take a moment to like this video. It helps this reporting reach more people. And subscribe for clear, fact-based coverage of global events. What do you think about this case so far? Share your thoughts in the comments. We rely on verified sources and long-form analysis. If that matters to you, please subscribe. It helps us keep this channel independent and factual. Click on the notification to get notified on new post. Now, let's get into the how. This wasn't a lucky shot, it was precision espionage at its finest. For months leading up to February 2026, the CIA had been on Khamenei's tail. Using a network of spies, satellite surveillance, and cyber intelligence, they mapped out his every move. They learned his patterns, when he emerged from his bunker, who he met with, even the security protocols around his residences. Key to this was human intelligence, insiders in Iran feeding tips to the West. But the big break came when intel revealed a high-level meeting of senior Iranian military officials at Khamenei's official residence in Tehran. This was rare. Khamenei didn't often host such gatherings above ground due to his paranoia. Israeli officials confirmed he was spotted at the compound shortly before the strike. The U.S. Central Intelligence Agency provided the pinpoint locations, coordinating with Israel's Mossad. Even Canadian forces chipped in, offering aerospace intelligence from their operations center. But tracking is one thing, striking is another. The US and Israel had to time it perfectly to avoid massive civilian casualties and ensure the hit. They chose daylight for better accuracy, a bold move in enemy territory. Let's break it down, hour by hour. It's early morning in Tehran on February 28, 2026. The city is waking up, unaware of the storm coming. At around 8 o'clock IRST, Khamenei arrives at his compound for the meeting. He's 86, frail but still commanding, surrounded by family and top brass. Just 10 minutes later, at 8:10 IRST, that's 4:40 AM Coordinated Universal Time, the skies are up. Israeli Air Force jets, backed by US support, launch a barrage of airstrikes on multiple sites in Tehran. Khamenei's residence takes the brunt. 30 precision-guided bombs rain down, turning the fortified compound into rubble. Satellite imagery later showed craters and devastation. The place was obliterated. The strikes weren't isolated. Simultaneous hits on at least 2 other locations ensured the operation's success, targeting other officials to create chaos in the regime. Khamenei was in the heart of it, likely in a meeting room when the first bombs hit. Reports say the attack was so swift that escape was impossible. If you're finding this breakdown valuable, take a moment to like this video. It helps this reporting reach more people. And subscribe for clear, fact-based coverage of global events. What do you think about this case so far? Share your thoughts in the comments. We rely on verified sources and long-form analysis. If that matters to you, please subscribe. It helps us keep this channel independent and factual. Click on the notification to get notified on new post. Initial chaos. Explosions rock the city, sirens wail. Iranian air defenses scramble, but it's too late. Within minutes, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu goes public. Khamenei is dead. US President Trump echoes it on Truth Social, calling him one of the most evil people in history. But Iran denies it at first. State media claims he's safe and sound, or moved to a bunker. Conflicting reports fly. Some say he was transferred underground. Others whisper he's gone. Casualties were immediate and tragic for the regime. 6 dead, including Khamenei himself, his daughter, son-in-law, grandchild, and daughter-in-law. His wife, Mansoura Khojaste Bagherzadeh, was critically injured and died 2 days later on March 2. This wasn't just an assassination, it was a family tragedy wrapped in geopolitics. The world held its breath. On March 1, 2026, just 3 days ago as of this video, Iranian state media finally confirms it: Khamenei is dead. They declare 40 days of national mourning and a 7-day holiday. An interim leadership council forms, including figures like Alireza Arafi, President Masoud Pezeshkian, and Gholam Hossein Mohseni-Ej. But with ongoing US-Israeli strikes, Iran's in turmoil. The IRGC pushes for a quick successor, but there's no clear heir. Khamenei never named one publicly. Reactions pour in from everywhere. In Iran, it's split. Massive celebrations in cities like Tehran and Shiraz, with people toppling statues and chanting for freedom. But in loyalist areas like Mashhad, crowds mourn with portraits and tears. Security forces fire on protesters, turning streets into battlegrounds. Globally, the US and Israel hail it as a victory. Trump warns Iran against retaliation and keeps the bombs coming. Netanyahu celebrates openly. Allies like Russia and China condemn it as a violation of sovereignty. Pro-Iran groups like Hezbollah vow revenge, while opposition figures like Maryam Rajavi call it the end of tyranny. Protests erupt worldwide. Riots in Baghdad near the U.S. Embassy, deadly clashes in Pakistan. In the U.S., polls show mixed feelings. 41% see it as necessary, but many worry about escalation. Analysts are calling this a Rubicon crossed, the end of an era for Iran. With no successor ready, the regime could crumble, or it could lash out harder. The Middle East is forever changed. So, why does this matter to you? This strike isn't just about one man, it's about the balance of power. Iran without Khamenei might pursue peace, or descend into civil war. The US and Israel have sent a message. No one is untouchable. But at what cost? Escalation could draw in Russia, China, or spark a nuclear crisis. Experts predict a power struggle in Tehran, with the IRGC likely taking control. For ordinary Iranians, this could be a shot at freedom after decades of repression. Time will tell. That's the full story of how the US and Israeli strike ended Khamenei's reign. If you found this eye-opening, comment below. Do you think this was justified? Share your thoughts. Subscribe for more deep dives into global events, and hit the bell for updates. Thanks for watching, stay informed, stay safe.